BBC Surrey, good morning. It's 9 minutes past 7 o'clock. I'm going to talk about MS, multiple sclerosis. It's a lifelong disease that can cause sufferers to wake up in the morning with all sorts of ailments. You can maybe imagine going to bed with no idea if you're going to be able to walk, talk, or even see the next day. Well, that's the case for thousands of sufferers across the UK, for which there is little or no hope of improvements. Sorrel Bickley is Head of Biomedical Research at the MS Society. Can explain more.
It's a neurological condition, so that means it attacks the nervous system. And that can lead to a whole range of symptoms that affect really every part of the body. So it can cause things like really overwhelming fatigue, pain, things like sight loss. And it's also really, really unpredictable. So one day someone could wake up and feel really normal, and the next day they might wake up and not be able to see from one eye or not be able to have movement in one of their legs. So it's an incredibly difficult condition for people to live with.
Well, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not available to everybody.
So HSCT is a really promising treatment that offers a lot of hope for certain types of MS. It aims to reset the immune system. So in MS, the immune system behaves in a way that it shouldn't, and it attacks the brain and the spinal cord. So the treatment works by taking the stem cells that make the cells of the immune system. In the clinic, they would take those stem cells out and then give the person chemotherapy to try and deplete the immune system. And then the stem cells are transplanted back in to try and build the immune system back up. And the goal is that those immune cells would now be behaving in a way that they should and not attacking the brain and spinal cord. So we've seen some really life-changing results so far from this treatment for some people with MS. It holds the most promise for people that are having regular MS attacks when the immune system is really, really active. And for those people, it can stop their relapses, it can stabilise or even improve their disability, which is hugely, hugely exciting.
Well, let's find out somebody who knows this, well, firsthand. MS sufferer Alex Green has lived with the disease for 9 years, but following crowdfunding last year in a campaign to the tune of £45,000, he feels like a new man and now wants to pay it forward. Alex, good morning to you.
Good morning, James.
Nice to see you, because we have met before.
We have.
We've heard your story. Take us back to maybe 18 months ago and how your body was and what your condition was like.
Oh, wow. 18 months ago, I think I was already on the waiting list for Russia. But the real trigger to get me on there was I'd had an attack because I switched medication. The medication was supposed to make me better, but actually my body just reacted to it, and it actually kind of devastated my well-being, my mobility. And I felt like, right, I've got to take back control.
So were you in a wheelchair? Could you walk? What could you do?
I could shuffle. But yeah, my football was long behind me. But I would say I was getting about okay. But the attack, like I said, it was devastating, and it left me to a point where I felt like I was probably one attack away from a wheelchair. I felt like I was on the brink.
Wow. Now, you're a young man. How old are you now?
37.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what makes it even more shocking. Now, you went for this treatment, HSCT, but you had to go to Russia for it.
I did.
And I know that we spoke, and if anyone's listened to BBC Surrey, they might have heard your journey, a little bit of it anyway. What's the procedure actually entail then? We've heard a bit about it. They take all your immune system is reset, basically. Yeah,
as Sorrel said, that they extract my stem cells. They give me chemotherapy to kind of blast away the rogue immune system that's been attacking my nerves. And then once they're confident that the white blood cells, the immune system is so depleted, I then go into isolation because any infection could be incredibly dangerous. And then they give me my stem cells back. They float around my bloodstream. And the nature of stem cells is they look for a job to do. They float around, they realise, wow, there's no immune system here. Let's get cracking. And so they literally kind of reboot the immune system and spring to life.
When you last came in, which was a remarkable difference from the first time we met you, you walked in here with walking sticks. You've just walked in here on your own now. What an unbelievable difference.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that, so I think, this time last year I'd downgraded my walking stick to a trekking pole, which was great because, so, I mean, that was maybe less than 3 months since I'd had the treatment, and the walking stick that I'd put so much weight and support on, my legs just started becoming immediately stronger. And like I said, I was able to downgrade it to a trekking pole, which was just more for balance. And so here I am a year later, and bar running and jogging, I feel like I've got full use of my legs again.
Now, I know you're going to the gym twice a week, but you're now going to basically, you're in training to jump out of a plane because you want to raise money to pay it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of think what a fantastic way to show people how far I've come. I think skydiving was one of the things that I think I kind of missed the boat on. I'd always wanted to do it, and the MS and the I think what it had done to me, the amount of stresses it would have put on my body, I think it would have just been just too difficult, too stressful, too horrible. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it, if it can be enjoyed. But
you enjoy it when the parachute opens.
Yes, that's certainly the relief. Yeah. So the way I kind of see it is that, yeah, the skydive kind of in one part, yeah, I get to show people how far I've come. Another is that HSCT has enabled me to do a skydive. So what a fantastic way to enable another to have HSCT by doing the skydive that it's enabled me to do. And then perhaps thirdly, so many people helped get me to Russia. I had the most incredible amount of support. So yeah, a cliche, but yeah, I'd love to pay it forward to try and help another.
Right, and have you got somebody in mind that you're specifically raising money for?
Yes, that's right. There's a lady in Bristol. Her name is Jill Mariner, and I believe she's had a difficult time trying to raise the money. She was once upon a time on the waiting list for Russia, but she found that funds just weren't coming in quick enough, so she actually had to take herself off and apply for a cheaper treatment elsewhere in India. And so whereas Russia is about 50,000 US, India is 30,000, and that was within her reach.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, India had a couple of perhaps unavoidable deaths. Avoidable deaths rather, and so she had to reassess.
Yeah.
And now she's back on the Russian waiting list.
How much does she need to raise?
Still another 20.
Wow.
Well, more than that.
So obviously, look, people can find out more about your fundraising. Where can they do that?
Well, there's my blog, letsgetrid.com. Actually, I haven't said that. I haven't put any links up to Jill, but I will do.
Yeah, okay.
But you can go to GoFundMe.com and do a search for Jill Mariner. I think it's her campaign is called Reboot Me.
Yeah.
And you'll certainly find out more about her. And
so when are you planning to do the skydive? When's that happening?
It's in 3 weeks' time.
Only 3 weeks? Oh,
yeah,
my word.
Absolutely. It's come about quite quickly.
Crikey. And where are you doing that from?
Swindon, which is it sits conveniently between here and there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Bristol,
are you nervous about it?
No, not at all. Maybe I don't get nervous about these sort of things. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
So I know that you've had your immune system reset. Last time we spoke, you were talking about having to almost sort of go and have the same injections that a toddler or a baby would actually go and get.
I'm not sure. The kind of the beauty of where I went in Russia, they've been doing it for, don't quote me, but best part of 10 years. And so whereas it's very fresh in this country where they're just starting to research it, over here they absolutely blast the body with chemotherapy. Yeah. Whereas Russia's had the luxury of being able to refine it over time. So whereas I'm not quite reset back to factory settings, if you like, my long-term immune system's still there. So when I had chickenpox, measles as a kid,
that's
still there. But whereas in this country, because they blast it so much at the moment, as far as I know, it blasts almost most of it.
Are you worried about your illness? Do you think about it? You know, are you going to wake up tomorrow morning and all this progress that you've made in the recent history is actually going to go away?
Yes, of course. I mean, that does play at the back of my mind. I think it's just about trying not to trigger whatever it was that made it happen in the first place. I mean, I've got a couple of inklings that it's believed that MS, there's various theories behind it, sort of geological, it's in my genes, but also there's got to be a trigger. And I think it can be like a bodily trauma, not necessarily mean like a great big accident, but it could be something as small as an infection that just gets the immune system to kind of think differently. So yeah, like I say, it's just perhaps avoiding whatever it was that maybe triggered it in the first place.
Alex, continued success with the recovery is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's remarkable. I find myself just to be the luckiest bloke. I feel like I've had a get out of jail free card. I really have. I think what's quite remarkable about it is that I knew the MS made me feel rubbish every day, but it's only when it's gone do you realise just how rubbish. And so whereas I'd wake up every morning and I'd feel incredibly sluggish, I'd probably have a headache of some sort, naturally feel slow, and you just wake up feeling like the sleep that you've just had has made no difference whatsoever. So actually just waking up every day now feeling fresh, breezy, and you know what? Normal. That's all people want, isn't it? Exactly. And I've kind of said for a while that normality is underrated. And so just by almost default waking up and feeling normal, I feel fantastic every day. Lovely talking to you. Let's try and speak on the day or the day before, maybe the skydive, and maybe the day after. We wish you every success with that. Thank you very much. Good to see you. BBC Surrey. It's 7:20.